Hello. Good morning, everybody. How are you all doing? It's now Wednesday, November the 6th. It's about 7 a.m. Central Standard Time here in Manitoba, Canada. And I've got to say, we're starting to look like a winter wonderland here. Check this out. Right now, it's about minus 10 already. And for the rest of the week, we're going to be getting down to even minus 16, minus 17. What I love about my climate is one thing only in winters, is that during the holiday season, it sounds like and it looks like something you would only see out of a children's fairy tale book. Do you know what I mean? Where it's just beautiful in the city because of the snow. And yeah, it does get pretty bad on the streets, but um, I don't think that you can really have a true Christmas without winter, right? Maybe it's just how I was born. But anyways, guys, I can't believe that a year ago today, it was my I released course number 2, exactly 1 year today in 2018, and I'm just thinking of how far we've come, how much it's helped people. And one thing I want to always tell people is this, okay? You might get this, you might get that, you might learn from here, you might learn from there, right? Or you might buy things, all these courses, all this educational material from various sources. But if it's just sitting on the shelf and you're not making use of it the way it should be made use of, hey, it's not a problem with the material, man. It's a problem with you, right? It's kind of the difference between a student succeeding in university and someone who may not do nearly as well. Because what we all have the same access to the same content, to the same material, but how motivated we are, that's something that cannot be taught. Though I really hope it's helped a tremendous amount of people figure out who they are and especially who they are not, in terms of what strategies they like and what they don't like, what may have worked for them but may not have worked for others. And that's what I just wanted to offer, an educational perspective of something that may have worked for me. And there are many things that work for me. Just as an example, my morning routine is very consistent, right? Of course, some days I don't always, I deviate from it. But when you think of just small things like morning routines that may work for others, or may work for me, but may not work for you, for example, right? So, because, guys, it is officially the 1 year anniversary, I've got to give a deal. If you don't have this yet, get it, because you're not going to be able to buy it in 2020, I don't think. I'm pretty sure I'm going to take it down just to create rare content. I'm going to take it down, but everyone who has access to it already, you'll always have access to it on Udemy, but it won't be purchasable anymore. Because I want to keep something that's rare that only a select group has. I don't want everyone to know what I know. Simple as that, right? As much as I want to share, I also want to keep the group very private, very exclusive, very limited content that only you guys may know from my perspective, that might not be available down the road. So if you guys are interested in it, hit me up. I'm dead serious. If you guys are looking for a deal today, now's the day, because I'm feeling incredibly generous and I want to make sure that you guys are valued for your time as well, while also respecting myself. So let's get into this, guys. Let's get into this. And a quick note, do you guys know why I listen to this kind of music? I listen to this kind of music because of my personality. Now, I have a very outgoing personality that's very high energy. And ask yourself, what kind of person are you? And this matters because for myself, with high energy in the morning, listening to music that's very upbeat with coffee, it's going to send me to the moon, which means that my thoughts are going to be racing too fast. I won't be calm. I need to be a lot more cool, calm, collected. I need to have a conducive environment that's going to slow me down because of how fast, as you guys have seen me in the past, was, right? Whereas you might be the opposite. You might need a little stimulant of upbeat music or coffee or whatever, right? I'm a tea drinker, right? Or an iced tea drinker, rather. I like to make my home, I like to make tea, but I ice it, right? Iced tea. Not like the traditional sweet kind. get up every day, man. I go for a long walk now, or I go to the gym. I eat really well, fruits and vegetables in the morning, milk, cereal, protein, whey, creatine, vitamins, multivitamins, omega 369, right? L-glutamine throughout the day or once a day. Yeah, I really take care of myself because I think that as a trader, especially a professional one who has been doing this at home for 3 years now, it's very important for us to figure out who we are and who we aren't to get into this routine that can develop and discipline you. You might think that it's just about learning how to figure out these patterns and how to read charts and figure out indicators, etc. But no, it's not like that at all. You got to get into that winning mentality of a mindset, mindset as an entrepreneur in a very competitive and saturated market, because the allure is what brings people into this game. And this is by far the most attractive profession from what I know. It's not like you become a doctor and you're going to say to yourself, I'm going to become a doctor for the money. I think that's like secondary. You become a trader to make money. Like it's a fact. You know, you're not doing anything good with it, right? It's not like you're curing some disease or building churches. Maybe that can come secondary after profiting enough. But we got to understand that this is it's a very selected market, right? Our profession or occupation of what we're doing, that's very specific. So you got to do whatever you need to do in terms of exercising your mind and training it, and to make sure that your body can correlate with it as well. Do you know that the successful trait of all one of the biggest traits of all successful people is that I'm talking about my heroes, like, you know, Warren Buffett, for example, just guys like up there, Elon Musk, right? Well, one thing is that they always try to stay healthy, right? They take care of their heart, like, especially when they were younger. Like, they really take care of their cardiovascular, because that, like, you know, they're always going to do something that's going to take care of the heart, because this right here is, and that right there are the two most important things, in my opinion, to take care of. And without either of these that are balanced, without a healthy balance of life, social, family, friends, love, everything, it may be really difficult as a trader to succeed, right? Like, you know, myself, for example, I got into all this trouble after crypto blew up and everything. Before, I wasn't nearly into as much trouble, so I'm learning how to regulate as well, and life is all about an ongoing mission of mainly failing so you can get yourself back up. And yeah, like, fail. It's pretty funny if people think that life is just gonna be waiting somewhere with a silver platter ready to give you the key ingredients to how to be happy and successful. Well, it's only up to us to figure it out, but I certainly find that trading in general is something that has certainly alleviated the burdens of modern day society, that can allow you to pursue things with a lot more passion, interest, and time. So, so I just wanted to tell you guys, just give you a little pep talk in the morning today. You know, these pep talks I give myself all the time. I love to meditate. I like to explore my deepest thoughts, and a lot of things come to me while trading, especially. If I'm ever super stressed out, I'll go and I'll just step aside and, okay, the reason I'm talking about this, it's gonna hit home, guys. The reason I am talking about this is because you guys know for a fact you can't be hot-headed, and you know for a fact that this FOMO of yours, this greed and this fear especially, is something that is probably the main reason why you're limited right now and why you might feel like you're at a wall. This is the number one topic. I read all of your DMs, I read all of your comments. And this is my specific videos are optimized to cater a really big market of a general consensus of what might be a problem. And right now, what I'm finding is that people are making very rash decisions. And when you're making rash decisions, it's usually out of FOMO, fear, greed, right? And how do you control yourself? How do you discipline yourself a little bit more to maybe not pull that trigger so fast and then you see yourself making a decision, right? Let's say you're sitting right here where I am. You see yourself making a decision, right? Might not be the best decision when you look back on hindsight. And now, let's say you can see yourself standing over there somewhere in the back, looking at yourself making a decision. Does that make sense? That's like having the type of insight to question yourself and your own things that you're doing. So you have to have that capacity and whatever it takes for you to calm down. For me, it's taking a step back and maybe having some tea or just meditating, believe it or not. And especially this kind of music that really calms me down. So having a key formula of kind of a lifestyle, not like a work ethic as well, you can say. It really comes down to having that work ethic where you're not gonna be drinking at work, you know? For example, I'm not gonna have a glass of wine. Maybe at the end of the night I'll unwind, have a glass of wine, like if it's a rare occasion or something, or I did really well. But other than that, it's grinding time, right? You treat it like you're a forex trader or something, where you're up like at 6 in the morning, you're ready to do your morning scan, you're reviewing the trades the night before. So every morning I'm reviewing my trades from the night before as well. Not only that, I'm reviewing what I reviewed last night. Okay, think of it like a university student. When I was a university student, I was pretty bad, I have to admit, right? I was bad like as in grades because I didn't really go to class, but I found it easy and shit. So when I went, at the end of the class, I would review for 5 minutes what we learned. And then at the end of the night, I'd review it again. And then before each class, I'd review it. This way, it's kind of like sticking of what's going on. You don't want to just forget the narrative, right? So anyways, just needed to talk to you guys a little bit about the routines of mine and just some of the small things that have helped me before. And in turn, perhaps it might have some impact on developing what you do down the road as well. It's always about learning from others, right? Learning from other people's failures will always contribute to your success, and learning from their success will also contribute to your success. So see everything as a positive learning experience, right? So if you guys are thinking that hey, it's time to leave the crypto space, people are always asking me right now, Philakone, when do you know that you should stop trading? Well, you don't know. Either you get liquidated and you give up, or you just get so like, actually I can't answer that. The time to give up is when it becomes to the point where there's just no progress after a very long time, and it's really costing you a lot of money, right? But mainly you're feeling defeated in your heart, and you just know that it's not for you, right? But I want to say with certainty right now, and I will look at you in the eye and say this firmly, okay? That right now, in my opinion, we are about to enter a fairly effing awesome bull market up until, I'd say, December the 17th, or after December the 17th. I think that we're finding stability exactly where we are, and I think that there's a potential, even if there was a 20% chance, for us to have a huge bull rally given some levels hold, and they have to meet certain criteria of mine, we could be entering a huge bull market. So just because you're not perhaps making money right now because it's slower than normal on average over the past few while, right? Other than this spike, you have to admit that the volatility was not like it was in 2017, that's for sure, right? But keep in mind, anyone can look like a genius in a bull market. How we manage our money, how we protect it in a bear market is what will differentiate the really good traders from the bad ones, and the ones that will be here a long time, and the ones that don't just look like a genius because it's a bull market, right? As you guys know, I'm a bear market specialist. I make 80% of my income from trading, shorting the market, because it's also relating to my pessimistic personality. Like it's more like, actually it's no, not pessimistic, but more like I look at things definitely half full and I'm very positive, but it just goes with my personality to take advantage of people's fear a lot more, right? Or greed rather. I'll take advantage of the greed of people thinking it's never gonna come down, so I'll short the market, right? That's where I'm better at. That So I think that we're going to be getting ourselves into a fairly nice bull market. And if you're even questioning if you should be in this crypto space because you haven't had the success that you want, or the success that you've heard of in 2017, or the success you've had before, then this might not be the space for you. You know, some months you're going to be down, some years you're going to be down. Now let's talk about Bitcoin. Um, Excuse me, my throat is hurting. Let's talk about Bitcoin 10 years from now, okay? Well, just because we've had what, you came into the game in 2017 and halfway throughout your career it's not the best. You've had 50% great bullish market, 50% not the best, and now you're questioning to leave. That's kind of it's kind of it's kind of cowardly in my opinion because you haven't even given it a chance or anything yet, right? Have the audacity to actually stick around a little bit longer and see where it goes. Because, hey, I think that it's going to be about, in the next 10 years, it's going to be about 8 of those years are going to be, you know, not 8, but like maybe like 60% of those years or 6 of those years out of the 10 will be really good. So I think that it's amazing that. Do you guys even remember? I'm just watching a lot of different. I'm just thinking in general about way back then. Uh, I don't know about you guys, but I'm 35, okay? And I didn't get dial-up internet until dial-up internet on a 14.4K modem. And I got that in grade 7, 1997. And then I had to work, you know, like I had to do odd end jobs for my parents and save up allowance to buy a 28.8K modem. We're talking about kilobits per second, which downloaded at like 3.2 kilobytes per second, right? And then I eventually got a 56K modem. And dial-up back then, people had no idea what the heck the internet was. I was using web crawler. Trust me, I got an amazing point. And I'm just trying to explain to my parents what the internet was, right? I had foresight to see how cool it would. I didn't see it from a business perspective, but I saw it from the perspective of how cool is this? I can play games with my friends online and stuff like that, right? And I can search up stupid things and look up. Back then, you're waiting, guys. You don't those that remember. I'm in grade 7 and we're dirty little kids, right? Trying to look up, dirty pictures online. I'm in grade 7, of course. And then, or even grade 6, and then you're waiting for that whatever bitmap to load. That's 1 megabyte. That takes like 10 minutes. Like it was just ridiculous. But nowadays, right? We think of the internet. You can't even explain what the internet is not, right? Everybody just sees this as this amazing collective network with unlimited resources of information online. And then you also think of, for example, how Bitcoin could be in the future, right? How uncommon it is right now, but how common it could be one day, just like the internet. It's 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 a world currency that's liberating people and empowering them. Bitcoin is here to stay. It has one of the biggest adoption rates in the world. I was reading some articles and watching some YouTube videos. So this is not me doing the research. I'm just being very honest. I don't take credit where it's not due, right? I forgot where I saw this. It could have been on like Altcoin Daily or something like that. So he was talking about, or just generally speaking about facts, how like, for example, the TV wasn't introduced until it was invented like 1917, but people didn't really start having it in their homes in mass until like 1942. Right? The internet took a very long time to catch on as well, or sorry, email, right? It wasn't until 1997 that people actually started adopting email into the workforce in mass, and it became a necessity. And email was invented way long ago. It's kind of funny when you think about these things that take a really long time for adoption, but the adoption rate of Bitcoin is ridiculous compared to other technologies that have been invented in the past before. So I'm very bullish on Bitcoin. So hopefully this answers your question on should you leave Bitcoin? If you don't got the heart to stay in the game, yeah, you should probably leave Bitcoin. So let's get into this technical analysis, shall we? I wanted to pump you guys up a little bit in the morning, and let's get into this. It's going to be really brief. Okay, so Bitcoin right now, hovering very much so. This here is always going to be a grave concern of mine. Did we actually reach epically proportional? I love this kid, Sung Ha Jung. Wish I can play like him, that's for sure. So you see this right here, right? We're just always gonna wonder, is this gonna stay in the channel? We're gonna break the downside. So Bitcoin right now, this is the target, about 10K. Remember my plans, okay? So right now, as long as we're hovering above here, I think that we're gonna stay very bullish, and especially as long as we don't fall below 8,900. I think we're doing pretty good. But main number right now is around 8,900. I want to stay above 8,500 especially. Excuse me, my eye just got a huge itch. 8,500 especially, and especially above the 200 moving average, which is now, seems like it's been moving up to about 8,600. So let's see how this is going to play out throughout the day. We're still maintaining this beautiful golden crossover from over here. It tried to do the fake out, right? Tried to come down, almost got the death cross, but of course this huge pump ensured that we didn't get a death cross. 3 days, same thing. The weekly's looking beautiful, I think. Yeah, it's looking pretty beautiful, staying above all of the EMAs, including the 8. Wow, is it ever bullish? That's just ridiculous how we're staying above the 8 EMA right now. I don't expect it to stay above it all the time, but I think it will stay above the 21 EMA. Now, what this needs to happen is this. This is on the weekly. We gotta get this positive. This cannot get to the negative side on Bitcoin. Okay, let's get with EOS now. EOS is kind of the big play right now of the week. EOS followed by maybe Litecoin, and followed by maybe XRP. That has huge potential right now. So the way that I'm looking at the weekly is huge, okay? First of all, let's go to the 3-day and establish this. We're establishing this channel by assuming parallelity right here, okay? And then once we assume parallelity, we see 1-2 points. After these 1-2 points have already formed, we can easily just extend it. So we knew that this one was a potential, we knew that this one right here was a potential resistance, okay? Therefore, we're going to use this one as one resistance, and this one is the second one. So if we use that one as the first one, the second one there, we can clearly see that this is a huge potential. That's about a 10% gain, and up to the next one is about a 30% gain. Not only that, this one over here is coinciding with the 382 Fibonacci ratio, or Fibonacci retracement, from the high point to the low there. So EOS is certainly on my mind. It is the one on the daily that is the highest right now on RSI. Out of all the other coins right now, it's making ground more than a lot others. Not only that, I question if this actually double bottom right here. If you take a look at it, it might have double bottom right there already. Beautiful if it did. XRP is having a lot of resistance issues right now, specifically right at the 303, 304 range. This line right here is a major resistance that has been established since a while. I think 20 days now. 20 days. Are we gaining any strength? We have no idea whatsoever yet, but this is certainly setting up for one or the other. The MACD is hovering too high right now, and it's setting up for most likely more of a drop than anything, because it has faced resistance for so long that the chances of us breaking up to the upside is really low in my opinion. The volume is actually dwindling to the downside now. Right here, it was a nice little pump upwards on the 4th, huge pump. 6%, but we have been hammering at this resistance for so long that if we don't break it soon, in my opinion, it's going to be a nasty drop to the downside, most likely to the 28.9 cent range, because first of all, actually 20.6 on the very low side, using this right here as the low, okay, and also the 55 moving average there. And if we do break to the upside, we're most likely going to challenge this high here at the 200 moving average at the 31.5 range right here, which is actually a very nice gain of about 4% perhaps for a scalping day position. Now Ethereum, I want to see these guys live really badly. So the weekly right now, oh yeah, I forgot to mention one thing on EOS, why it's my contender right now. On the 3-day chart right here, actually on the weekly chart right here, the weekly chart is about to cross over, okay? Next week, we're going to get a potential crossover. If this crossover happens, you bet we're going to get a beautiful rally. And my target is going to be specifically $4.80 if we get this crossover. Remember what I just said there. $4.80 is my target if we get that crossover to the upside. So that is why EOS is heavily on my mind right now. Now, I'm not saying to buy now. I never say when to buy or sell. I never even suggest anything. I'm just talking about from my own perspective only, okay? You guys understand why I'm saying this, right? It's very important that you guys understand that this is for educational purposes only, and because I'm just going to be honest, I don't ever want to have legal issues because of YouTube, put it that way, right? So anyways, Ethereum right here, right now, is in the same boat as well, okay? That's why it's in the number 2 contender of mine right now. You see it right here with the potential crossover. You set November the 18th to the November the 25 range. Okay? So the way that I see it is this. On the weekly, I see this as just gaining ground. Gaining ground, gaining ground, gaining ground, gaining ground. Higher, low every single time. And now we were in the negative for a very long time, right? Since April, basically. Since February 6th. That's when we've been just crashing to the downside. Now the way I see Ethereum is this, that we are now trying to get to the positive side of the histogram again. Okay, now we got to the positive side right here, as you can see here, since the bull market began on December the 17th in 2018, and then we went up to the upside, but of course the bears want to push it to the downside right here. And now the bulls, are they going to come to the defense to drive it to the upside? And the answer to me is most likely yes. Therefore, if we do get a beautiful retracement to the upside and we cross over, my target is actually going to be slightly below the moving average of the 55, and also somewhere between the 382 and you know, right around this range. I'll say between 210 and 226. That's right, guys, between 210 and 226. It's between these wicks here in that particular region, because keep in mind that the weekly crossovers are potentially very, very, very bullish. So I just want to prepare you just in case we do hit this bull market. Always got to prepare. Now, there's this question that I always ask myself in a bull market, okay? I ask myself, can anybody actually look like, do I want to be the guys that just looks like a genius in a bull market and it just made a few percentage gains? Or do I want to be the guy that is going to look like a genius in the bull market, because everyone does, while also making even more killer profit because I planned a lot better, right? I don't just buy because of FOMO and I got lucky. I want to plan with specific targets, specific risk allocation, and go for the long-term marathon rather than just that one sprint of 200 meters. I'm going to be a triathlon for this, guys, okay? That I'm going to be an Ironman, right? You don't want to be one of those guys that's just going for that one little sprint, right? That 400-meter track where you're running around it one time and you got really lucky. You want to be that guy, you know, that's a team player, looking out for your friends in the game, where you're handing on, what is it called? Where you're handing on the stick and you're running with a team and stuff like that, and it's a really long race. I forgot what that's called, excuse me. So anyways, that's where I see it, between 210 and 225 if we do end up hitting a bull market there. Because you gotta admit that weekly bullish hammer, oh man, was it ever just ooh on Ethereum. Like that's just freaking beautiful, man, on that weekly. And LTC, I'm not going to touch too much on it right now. It's not getting a lot of volume whatsoever. It's a little bit boring in my opinion. It's kind of lagging really behind by at least 3 weeks right now, right? It could be a leading indicator. Yes, I completely acknowledge what I did say last time. But right now, I'm comparing it to the altcoins, right? I think that Litecoin is actually ahead of Bitcoin, but all these other altcoins I'm talking about right now, they're more so behind. Or sorry, they're more so ahead. So I'll keep you guys updated with more of my thoughts on what's going on right now with this particular rally, okay? And keep in mind that for EOS, that specific section is really important to me around up there, because that needs to break out before I show any more interest. So anyways, guys, have yourselves a wonderful morning. Thank you very much for tuning into this extremely long morning video. And I hope that you guys have a fantastic day. And those that are still looking for a deal, because it's my 1 year anniversary for course number 2, hit me up, guys. Let's talk. I'm going to be very generous today. You have no idea. So have yourselves a great day. Take care now. Bye.